just ran the Monctonian in Moncton, the 59th Monctonian, and we were using the 5 rock rule. And even league play, I think, goes to the 5 rock rule.
Yeah, we've employed the 5 rock rule in all our league play as well. So Ontario drew closer to the button in the after their practice, so they earned the hammer.
And that's how it's determined, Eddie. Before each draw, the 2 teams go out and they have their practice, and then they throw to the button, right?
That's correct. I like that system, and you and I have been following it in different events. Instead of a coin toss, which is done in club play.
Right. And I think that measurement also I'm not sure about this particular event because it's a whole week, but sometimes it comes into effect again to determine something.
Yes,
potentially.
And at one point it used to be if you covered the pin, the center hole in the button, then teams would have to rethrow if both teams covered the pin. But now they have the instrument that is able to measure right from the edge of the rock to the pin. Yes, laser. Yeah. So they only have to throw it once, and as you mentioned, that all of those measurements for each team give an aggregate at the end, which may come into play if there are tiebreakers.
Right. Yeah, that always seems a little strange to me. Boys, you cover the pin, and you got to throw it again. The chance of covering the pin twice is not very great, I wouldn't think so.
No, I remember watching. I was watching the Briar, one of the teams I was following, and they did it 4 times. The pin was covered 4 times, and on the 5th one of the teams was closer. So this solves that.
Yep.
For the most part. I don't know. I can't recall exactly how close the measurements are. If it's down to the nearest millimeter or micrometer, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, we're well along here in the first end, and Ontario has hammer, as you mentioned. So peeling that guard. In the 4 rock rule, as most people would know, rocks that are not in the house cannot be removed until the 4th rock is thrown. They've really done a nice job, Ed, with the, I was asking about the advertisers. Boy, all we have to do is look out on the ice, and that's really a great, which is what you need for events like this. You need local sponsorship, but you also need their participation when an event like this comes to town, so it's great to see that.
Yes, you certainly pointed out there are a lot of logos here from all of the sponsors, and we were very fortunate to have each of our rings with sponsorship from, we have the Travelers Canada on sheets 2 and 5, but on the other sheets we have local businesses that have sponsored their logo on the rings.
And they stay on for the whole year.
They're on for the whole year, yes. Yeah.
And they might even be multiple year.
Some of these are multiple year commitments, yeah.
That's great. That's great. So, mission accomplished. Rock removed.
So, if I look in the overhead, Ern, you can see that Northwest Territories are sitting shot rock.
Yes, with some backing, eh? So,
yes. Ontario's back 4, so.
That'd be rather difficult to remove, I would think.
Yeah. So is he playing a guard on this?
I think he is, yeah.
And we didn't get the lineups. Do you want to go through the lineups, Arnold?
Sure. So for Northwest Territories, we have the skip, Shad McLeod. 3rd, Steve Robertson. 2nd, Devin Bouillon. Lead, Rob Kohler.
Kohler, yeah.
Kohler, yeah. Yep. And their coach is Sharon Cormier.
And for Ontario, the skip is Matthew Dupuis. 3rd, Terry Lichty. 2nd, John King. And the lead, Charles Wirt.
You had a couple of shutouts, didn't you, Ed?
Yeah, we'll get to the. We'll do the shutouts for Ontario first here. Charles wanted to send out shoutouts to Karen, his wife, and his two girls, Jillian and Allison. So I hope you're watching. I'm not sure if Jillian and Allison are in school or they're not of school age yet. John wants to say hello and thanks for watching to his fiancée, Sophie. And Terry Lichty would like to say a shout out to Mallory and Kyle. Those are his niece and nephew, and they're in beautiful BC, and I'm not sure if they're able to take in the game today, but he wanted to give a shout out. And Matthew wants to say hello and thanks for watching to Ashley, his wife, and his two children, Maverick and Ellie.
There you go. Very well. So we're repeating, or trying to repeat that guard. He may choose to come in with this, Ed. It's not going to do him any harm.
No.
No, okay. He repeated the guard. Fine.
Very nice.
So the first of Skip's Rocks for Team Ontario. I think he's going to make a run at that, Ed.
Probably playing hack weight.
And he might get everything going, and at this point he's just wanting to get out of the end. I suspect that they've been running, if it's true to the Miramichi ice, there's probably a nice curl to it as well.
It's having nice curl, but some of them are getting fooled outside the 4-foot line if their weight is up.
Right on.
It's running straight, and
yep. So Dupuis with his first of Skip's Rocks here in the opening end.
Working hard to get it by that guard.
No, I think it's rubbing.
Just rubbing.
You're right. He had probably hack on that, and that come up nice.
I don't know if you noticed, Arnold, I was talking to players from Team Ontario. Now, two of the players, and I'm not sure which two. I think Matthew's one, and I'm not sure if it was Terry or Charles. Anyway, they wear a knee pad cushion behind their knee, and it's baseball catchers wear them, I guess, so that they don't fully compress their knee when they slide out.
Well, you know what? I saw that when they were doing the opening draw, and I thought he was going to turn it around and put it on his knee.
I thought that yesterday when we were taking photos, and they crouched down for their photo, and I said it must be something for, because you see some club curlers putting it on something on their knees. They don't want to hit their kneecap. Yeah.
No,
So
I've never seen that,
yeah.
So that's interesting.
And it makes sense. They both have bad knee problems, both Terry and Mark.
Mm-hmm. All right, so guard is returned.
Yeah.
They've kind of got the market on that guard, right, just off the center line.
Yeah, they certainly know the line and the weight for that.
And forcing Ontario to take their one. However, they do have to draw to the button, so it's not a given by any means.
Yeah, I might have been tempted to come in a little tighter. I don't know, Arnold.
I
don't think they could have hurt themselves.
No, you're right. You're right. So the last rock of the first end being delivered by Skip Dupuis.
Taking the edge of the 8-foot for their line.
Sweepers are, they appear to say it has enough. It looks a little hot, Ed. It's finishing nicely now. There's that finish.
Oh, man.
Great finish. Very nicely done. However, I don't know if he moved the...
I think they just left it a little too long, Arnold.
Yes. And you know what? I mean, I was with them. I was thinking, okay, we got to wait for this thing to move, but
Yeah.
That's exactly what you were talking about. It's nice, swingy ice.
Very weight sensitive, and they have to anticipate that it is going to curl.
Yep.
You know, sometimes you're thinking, well, it's staying out.
Yeah.
And if that weight is correct, they
Yep.
just lost it on that last, probably from just outside the house in.
He certainly had nice weight, and they were off it, but they need to be, you need to be going back and forth. So steal of one for Northwest Territories here in the first end. We'll see how they set up their end too, Ed. There's some mines that would have the first rock coming into the rings, and the opposing team would start putting the corner guards up. He seems to be McLeod seems to be asking for a center line guard.
Yes, perhaps if they had scored 2, they might have been a little more defensive minded and come into the top 4. Yep. But you're right, Arnold. Looks like a center guard, and it's interesting doing some learn to curl program with 24 players last year, and very keen to learn. But when you're talking about being aggressive versus defensive, they thought you should put it in the rings to be aggressive. They didn't understand the rationale for putting guards out being more of an aggressive play rather than a defensive play.
Well, there's even seasoned curlers that I've curled with that if it's close to the rings, they just want to get it in there. But with these free rock zones, whether it be 4 or 5 rocks, you don't need it there until it's absolutely necessary. So, yeah. Well, they're not laying a broom to this.
I don't think he wants it in, but it looks like it's going to finish just in.
And you know, Ed, that's the point I made at noontime. It doesn't matter whether it's the 4 rock rule or the 5 rock rule. If it's in the house, that rule doesn't apply. It's very important when you are playing the free guard zone to make use of it, right? That's the advantage.
Yes. Yeah, and Charles wouldn't have been happy with that. And the other thing is, they may not have thrown down that line, that inside-out line.
No question, and we're still talking the early end, so it's not. We're not being critical here. Just he, as you say, that wouldn't have been what he was looking for.
And I have found because I play out of this club that, generally speaking, the second end, the ice picks up, by half or a full second.
Yep. They would have, I'm sure, textured the rocks, what we call texturing the rocks, and that's actually turning the riding surface over and putting a type of sandpaper to it just to give it a bit of grit.
Yes, we had new inserts put in, our sensors put into our rocks that will give feedback based on, you'll see a strip in behind the hack that has sensors that will pick up whether you're on the broom, off the broom, the rotation, the speed. But anyway, it raised the handle component of the rock about a 1/4 inch. And we only noticed the problem when we went to measure a rock in club play, and we couldn't get the measuring device over the handle. So I thought Curl Canada brought a set of rocks. But I was informed last night, no, they brought handles, and they used our rocks. So we took all the inserts out of all the handles off, and then used the Curl Canada. One of the reasons is we number our sheets at the club here 1 to 6, and the protocol for Curl Canada is to use letters. So
A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah. So they were trying to get the letters
uniformity. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. So that sensor, is that for training purposes or is that for regular play?
It can be used in our club. I guess we can activate that, and I don't know if there's an app that we use, but yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, our club president, Sean Ingersoll, and I forget if they were at a coaching clinic, and anyway, he and Hubert Williston, who's done a lot of things for the club.
Yes.
They found a way to to contact the person who was doing it. I don't know if it was with someone with the Curl Canada. But anyway, they went ahead and got it and put it in when we were putting the ice in. So
Very good.
I haven't seen it in use yet.
Okay. So we're kind of in a takeout mode right now in the second end. Coming up nicely, and they're just throwing back line hack weight to that.
Yeah, they're throwing really nice weight that the sweepers can have an effect on it.
Yep. I see Dupuy has one of those pads on as well.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so the takeout and the roll is being requested of.
Yeah, maybe try to utilize, even though that guard's long, you might be trying to utilize that for the hit and roll, Arnold.
So Devin Bouillon, nice shot.
Yeah, very nice.
They got exactly what the skip had requested. That was, however, that was John King that threw that very nicely. The boys swept it just enough to get that roll.
Yeah.
So McLeod has to deal with it. Now it's behind his long guard.
Trying to determine which way to come.
He's asking Steve Robertson to. I think he wants to certainly move it off. Whether he can get it out, I think there's enough distance, Ed, between that long guard and this that with the right weight.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed yet, but are the houses pretty lively?
They are. We talked about that last night, and the players were saying that they were lively. For people who are watching at home and not quite understanding, maybe you could explain what they mean by lively rings.
Well, and that's with these with these rocks as well. If you've had them, if they're fairly new rocks,
they were sharp. They were sharpened.
Yeah. So it doesn't take much of an action for once they make contact to either remove or roll. Now, in that particular case, the guard was removed, but it was removed by well, of course, we're past the 4-rock rule anyway, so it wouldn't matter. Ontario's going to. Cloud is asking for that to come in. They have 2 counters now. The boys are taking their time on that. They're pounding it pretty good now.
Yep.
Nice weight. Delivered by Lichte,
yeah. And rock is placed ideal location. There's no double opportunity here.
I just heard someone's cell phone. That's a good opportunity to turn mine off. All right, so Eddie's asking, actually he was going to play that shot, but I think this is the better call to come behind the actual shot rock. So they're making action on the second stone. This is Steve Robertson delivering, and they haven't laid a broom to it. They're got a bit of a roll, and actually claiming shot rock, I believe.
Yeah. So Steve was telling me downstairs he wanted to send one of the shoutouts he wanted to send to his older brother Mark, and Mark was a former competitor in the Travelers event, and I'm not sure which year it was, but so Mark, maybe you're watching the game. A great shot by your brother Steve.
This Traveler event, Ed, has really been a nice format for club play and people who may have been to provincials, but there is a criteria as to how many years or when the last time was that you participated. So it really makes for a more of an even playing field, right? Like you don't have Briar participants playing or Scotty's participant playing. This is not the focus for them, although the whole concept of the Travelers is to replicate what happens at the Briar and the Scotties.
And really talking to players that have represented their province or territory, they've really been excited when they win, and they get to wear their colors just like the teams going to the Briar or Scotties.
Yep, yep. And the whole event is run pretty much the same way. I was able to go to my son's Briar back in Calgary and had a taste for that. I mean, I've been there as a fan before, but being there as a parent, it adds a little dimension to it.
Yeah, it's certainly not the same as at Arnold.
But, no, they're great events. So Shot Rock has been taken out, and they've got a nice roll there. That was the first of McLeod's skips rocks. So this has been pretty wide open, Ed.
This end, yes. The way, well, especially since that the first rocks kind of determine,
Yep.
a lot of times how the end's going to go. Once Team Ontario came into the rings with their first shot, kind of changed the scope of the
Yep.
of the end and the strategy.
And I would think here that Dupuy would like to make contact on that and get that as far away from his other counter.
Yeah, I'd like to come across the face just a bit, Arnold, wouldn't he?
Yeah. The boys are holding off. Moving now. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Yeah, very nice.
Have you seen much directional sweeping, Ed? Is that something that,
Yeah, there were a few teams doing that, yes.
and
Some of the teams have really good brushers.
right.
Maybe you can explain that for
Well,
for people.
the from what I know of it, and I've never done it, so but typically you'd have a sweeper sweeping for the curl, and one sweeping for the line. So and they would be one or the other. The other thing is, oftentimes in this day and age, you'll see just one sweeper doing that, and the other one follows the rock to the house and then kicks in when you get the hit. It's I think Gushu was one of the ones that started that.
Yes, I think he must have played half a season before people kind of picked up on, what is the actual science, because it really changed how people were able to explain why the rock curled and why it curled so much. And it's not so much melting the ice as it is with putting micro abrasions on.
And back when that started, the CCA had not authorized the brooms, so you actually had grit on the brooms that was actually helping that to happen. So
the more abrasive your broom pad was, the more scratches you could put in, and you could if you were brushing in the direction of that the rock was rotating, you could increase the curl. And on the opposite end, if you were brushing against the curl of the rock, you could straighten it out or even make it back off.
So Matthew Dupuy makes his takeout and scores 2 in the second end. So after 2 ends, it's 2-1, Ontario over Northwest Territories. Yes, and all of the brooms that are here to play in any national championship or provincial championship, your broom head, which is what's making contact with the ice, has to have a registered number to it, or it's not allowed for play. And our umpires that are here, and I think there are 6 sheets of ice, or probably 3 or 4 of them for every game, they would be checking that out. It's actually a number that's stamped on the
yes, I know.
on the pad.
I just bought a pad there, and I bought one that was for club play, and it's going to last a little longer. It's waterproof, but it can be quite expensive, I think, because they are pricing. I'm not sure what the lifespan is, if it's just one game,
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I think the CCA had different rulings with how many brooms you could bring out to use, right?
Yes. So we have 6 games, and this is, I believe, draw 3, is it, Ed? Or
Draw 4.
Draw 4.
Draw 4, and this is the second draw for teams in Pool B.
Pool B, right.
Yeah.
Yes, because right now, as we said, the standings, Ontario is with the 1-0, and Northwest Territories are 0-1. So. We were talking about those sponsors earlier. The province of New Brunswick, of course, participates in provincial events, but also national events. Curl NB, of course, a promoter of curling in the province. Pizza Delight, which is a local sponsor here, and Subway. Thanks go out to them. Tim Hortons, I see, is out there, of course, and Jet Ice. And, of course, the Bonspiel major sponsor is Travelers.
It's hard to run these events, Arnold, without sponsorship.
Absolutely. And volunteers.
And volunteers, like yourself.
I really like, though, Ed, that for on Ice 8 we have Sobeys, Douglastown, which is a major sponsor. We have the Funny Lion Motel and Restaurant on Ice C. Hubert Williston on Ice D. And Capers Pub and Eatery on Ice F. And as you say, those stay in year-round, right?
Yes.
That's great. That is great.
And not only is it nice to see the sponsors there, but it really adds to the venue itself, you know.
Yeah.
Really nice. Nice. And people that come up, and we were upstairs watching, looking down on the sheets, they really notice them. Yep. And they notice how everything pops when they come into the club.
A little bit of a forced error here, I think, for Northwest Territories. They were looking to go around Ontario's guard and ended up promoting it on the rings. So now Ontario's lying 2, and McLeod would be asking Kohler to remove this. Now, the indication from the sweeper was that he might be a little hot, and as you mentioned, if it is a little hot, it tends to stay there a little bit, but this has got some nice finish on it. Move it off to the side.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice. And so that's lead Rob Kohler from Northwest Territories, who just delivered that stone. He wants to send a shout out to his mom Cheryl, his stepdad Mike, and his sister Ellen. And interesting, he wanted the players at the front end for Team Northwest Territories wanted to point out for people watching that Rob has only curled, this is his 3rd year, and second on the team, Devin Bouillon, this is only his 2nd year. So, you know, club curlers take note, you know, I mean,
yep.
We have some new club curlers now, and just, you could be there. You could be representing your province or territory.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ontario remains lying 2 here in the 3rd end, and McLeod is asking Bouillon to remove that guard, and a little bit of a slip there. Yep.
Yeah, just
not really accomplishing what they're hoping for. They half shot like that can get you into trouble.
Yeah, but it was better than a total miss. Yeah. That was just because he had a little wobble at the end.
That's right. He moved it off the center, but yep. So King is being asked to promote the one on the 12th foot a little further into the rings. So they'll wait on this until it gets closer to the center line. As we said earlier, once it starts to move, it's got nice weight. A split won't hurt him here either.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, what will Matthew call on Devin to do here?
Well, he just indicated, Ed, that he'd want that taken out and roll behind that the guards that are out there. And these are not as easy as they look to make. I mean, it's a sweeping effort, and the call has to be pretty precise. There's that directional sweeping that we were talking about.
He's trying to keep that rock straight, and he really did.
Got the roll the other way, but that's okay. The rock was removed. The play takes place here all week at the Miramichi Curling Club here in Miramichi, New Brunswick. It's the 2018 Travelers Curling Club Championships. There are draws. What do we got? We have 4 draws per day.
Yes.
9 o'clock, 12:30, 4 p.m., and 7:30. Watching a live stream is fine, but there's nothing like being here in person, and there's great viewing positions to see all the activity.
Yes, and the people here that are here are really enjoying themselves and enjoying the atmosphere too.
I really like what they've done downstairs, Ed, in the lobby, where they've put the seating for spectators, which is really great. It's elevated a little bit so you can see over the person in front of you. It's very nice. And that I understand was compliments of Hubert Williston. Kudos to the great having club members like that.
You know, Steve is trying to get by that guard and push that yellow rock out. And it just wrecks.
They're just missing on the inch. It's just,
And I'm not sure if it's the delivery or it's the line. If they're not giving, if it's not enough ice or too much ice. There's so many different variables, Arnold, aren't there?
Absolutely.
Maybe just how you released it out of your hand.
Exactly. So Dupuy is asking Lichty to go behind that one on the 12-foot. Ontario's got a bit of putting some pressure on Northwest Territory at the moment here in the third end. They're really pounding that, Ed. They're I don't know if they're going to get it by, but just. Wow. Okay.
That was good brushing, Arnold, wasn't it?
Yep. If we're saying that the ice is keen as it appears to be, it becomes real sweeper's ice too, you know. They can really control the outcome of a shot.
Yes, for non-curlers, it's a little difficult to understand that keen ice, we might say, is 25, 26 seconds, which our ice does get to. And we've thrown on ice that's 20 seconds, and they say, well, if it's 20 seconds, that should be faster. But it's a hard concept to get your head around.
Yeah. Steve Robertson just missed the double attempt, and he's going to roll out. And those are the shots where, at the very least, okay, you don't make the double, but if you stuck around, it keeps putting a little bit of pressure on Ontario. Right now, they're just choosing where they're going to put the third rock, and whether they actually come in or just put a guard, we'll wait and see.
I thought Matthew indicated a guard initially, so I'm not sure.
Right. Keep the pressure on. So the first of Ontario skips rocks here in the third end. Because that's ahead of the tee line too, a freeze on that yellow wouldn't be terrible either.
No.
The chance of removing both if they're frozen one on the other could create some problems.
Sweepers indicated that it might be a little hot, a little deeper than they were looking for. So it might be just as you said, Arnold. If they come right to it.
It's a little bit of a bump, but that's still that's not an easy double.
No.
And it looks like the choice that he's making is just to what he raised was shot rock. However, if he just comes after that shot rock and doesn't make it perfect, it could be allowing Ontario a big end here. So he is going after the top one.
Top one, yeah.
The double's there.
Yeah, I thought he might try to freeze to the back one.
Well, freeze perhaps, but he was indicating takeout. I think that would have been a little risky.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he'd like to. If he doesn't make the double, he'd like to hit, and as you mentioned on Steve's shot, like to hit and stick around.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first of McLeod skips rocks for Team Northwest Territory. If he hits that straight back, Ed, he'll lie shot rock, even though there is a third stone in the house. So that would be what he'd want to do. Getting at it now.
I think they might be waiting.
Ooh, that really jumped on.
Yeah, they came off it, and
Yeah, that's the.
yeah.
You've got to stay ahead of those because it becomes a sweeping error in that case. I think he threw it
Yeah,
well.
I think this. Yeah.
When I say sweeping error, I'm not blaming the sweepers, but someone has to tell them what the line is.
Yes, it's
You can
it's
see
the whole team concept. We can see it back here.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's easy behind the window here. So he's looking to, he miles it, put his third stone in position. He's indicating right on the center line, which would mean if they come after it and hit it straight on, they're not going to score. So
And that will leave a decision for Shad whether he's going to try to hit the one that's just off the 4 foot or draw.
right. Yeah, this doesn't have to be any more than 8 foot. He doesn't need to be 4 foot. He doesn't need to be deep at all. As we've seen this end, there's been as many takeouts roll out. So
Yes.
so the rushers feel that there's enough weight. The one thing he probably didn't want to do is to be at the back of the 4 foot. Ooh. And certainly not be through the house. Pressure off on sometimes that's just to draw to the 8 foot, right? But maybe not concentrate quite as much and a little more of a kick. And the ice is, as we said, is pretty keen now.
And many of the players indicated that they haven't been on ice that is this keen.
Well, that's the other thing. Club play, even though this is club ice, the preparation that went into it for this event is not what you'd normally see in your day-to-day club play.
No, because for each draw, the ice is done as if it was the ice being done for the full day, and they do that between every set of games here, every draw.
Right.
Whereas if we were in a club curling event and there's 3 draws on a Tuesday night, if you're in the last draw, well,
you gets what you gets.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, the preparation is the shaver comes out and takes all of the previous pebble on for the previous 2 draws, and it's repebbled, and you're back like on a fresh surface. The swing is fooling him a little bit.
I thought he might have come off that and tried to play the double.
Well, you know what? at the end of the day, you probably could have,
yeah.
But a little risky, yeah. So steal of 1 for Ontario here in the third end. After 3, Team Ontario leading 3-1 over Northwest Territories.
And I think all the sheets have completed 2 ends. Maybe go across and give updates, Arnold.
Yeah, we've got Northern Ontario and BC. BC's leading 3-0, and that's after they're in their 4th end.
And is that the men's or women's, Arnold?
That was the men's, yeah. The ladies now on sheet B. New Brunswick over Ontario, and it's 4-1 Ontario over New Brunswick, and they're into their, I believe it's their 5th end? Can't see the scoreboard.
I can't see that. I think it's the 3rd end, Arnold.
3rd end, okay. And we've got in sheet C, we've got, actually can't see.
It's New Brunswick and Newfoundland, yeah?
No, Manitoba. Yeah, New Brunswick and Newfoundland, that's the men's, yep. And 3-2 for New Brunswick after 3. And they're playing in the 3rd end, yeah. So our game is really moving along here, Ed. Those other 2 games that we just mentioned are in the 3rd end.
Yeah, they're just finishing up the 3rd.
Yeah.
Ladies on sheet D, Prince Edward Island and Newfoundland are all knotted up at 2 each.
And they're in their third.
They're in their third.
All right, so
And then the women on sheet F, Yukon and Nova Scotia.
2-1 for Nova Scotia. After 2. So they're in their third. So here's a position, Ed, where Northwest Territory ignored the shot rock in the house and went and played the corner guard. That's a strategy that's often used. We were just talking about the nice ice conditions. Chris Tapley's just come and visited us here. He's the provincial ice maker for Curl NB. Everything going pretty good, Chris?
Really happy with the way things are.
I was telling Ed, I was speaking to Lawrence Forbes, the head official, and he said everyone's happy with the ice conditions and everything seems to be just going fine so far.
Everything's been rolling right along good. Great club to make ice in. Really is a good club to make ice in.
And it really presents itself nice with all 6 sheets being used. That's great.
We've done provincial championships here, probably half a dozen times since the club's been here. And the crew here is good. The volunteers are fabulous.
Yep.
And we have a great relationship here. It's a beautiful place to make ice.
You've probably got a volunteer crew as well helping you with the ice?
Yep. I've the club ice maker here is Darwin McAllister. He's really good. Great guy to work with. Vernon Lister from St. Andrews come up to join us for the event. And got a few volunteers from the club itself that aren't ice makers but are really good as far as how this clean up.
There's a lot of other tasks that need to be done, right, as part of the ice maintenance, right?
Yeah, and it's funny when I do events like this, whether it's a national event or a world event or whatever, I seem to get like all the credit for it, but it's one of those jobs, like I've got a full team that works with me. I can't do this by myself, so, but it's nice to have a good crew, and it just makes my life better.
And it's good not to necessarily take all the credit for it, because if someone's not happy with the ice, guess who's going to get the...
Yeah, I seem to get all the credit for that if there is a problem.
But overall, though, in a lot of the events that I know that we've held at Curl Moncton or at the Thistle Rangers or Capital Winter Club all over the province, typically you've been able to come up with some pretty good ice. I think the clubs really seem to shine, and this is one of the bigger clubs in the province. So.
And the nice thing about us going into like other clubs and doing provincial events and stuff, I get to work with the club ice makers, and in some cases it's a paid position, in other cases they're volunteer, and hopefully as part of my job is the Margaret guys is teaching and training and trying to help guys. I'm fortunate to get struck around the world doing this, so I can bring back into the clubs like what I learn and what I pick up, and it's one of these jobs. It's a constant learning process, and the day you think that you know everything about making ice, that's going to come back to bite you really quick. Like, things just change too quickly and too fast out there, and you got to stay up and on top of it constantly. So.
Any big trips coming up for next year?
I've got 2 national events this year. This is one of them, and then my other one this year is in Fredericton, so I'm not going far from home.
There you go.
As I get older, some of these European trips and stuff like that, when I'm 10, 12 hours on a plane, I'm not regretting not being on a plane for 10 or 12 hours.
And that was, we came up this morning, and that was a nice, easy hour-and-a-half drive from Moncton, so it was pleasant beans before the snowstorm.
Yeah, so instead of 10 hours on a plane, I'm an hour and 15 minutes from home, which is a lot easier.
So, Chris, after the fourth end, the boys, you'll be out there chamois the full ice surface, and do you pebble around the delivery? Is that something that's still done?
Just right in front of the hacks. It gets wore down a little bit from just from the throwing, things like that. So we put a little bit of pebble right in front of the hack, just so it's not sticky when they're trying to deliver a stone. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, that's good. Anyway, things look great, and so far, kudos to you and your crew.
Thank you very much. been so far. It's been good comments. Nobody's threatened to kill me yet, so it's a good thing.
No, that's great.
It's early, so but no, as far as we can see, everything's going good.
That's great.
It's good surface. Coach seem to be happy, so
Yeah.
good luck to them.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks a lot, Chris. That's great. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. Chris Tapley, the provincial ice technician for the province of New Brunswick, New Brunswick. Chris does give, he was mentioning about training people. He does give, has given courses. He comes to different clubs and would invite surrounding clubs to come as well, and just give some tidbits on how best to get the ice maintained at your club.
Yes, I was fortunate to. I think it's 3 or 4 years now ago that we asked Chris. We had a new ice maker at that time in Merle Kenna, and Chris came up and helped with the installation of our ice, and it's quite a process. It'd be nice to have something that would be, videoed, and then
Yes.
having an elapsed time
Yes.
video to show the start to finish what's involved. It's
Yeah.
and that was just a little heavy.
Yep. They were trying to keep that straight. Ontario is being aggressive here. They could choose to just put another guard up there, but Dupuy is asking his, I think that's his mate. Yep.
That's Terry Lichty, yes.
Yep. To actually come behind two of their rocks and bury this one. Now he was certainly out to the room.
Yes.
They're not laying a brush to it. See where it starts to move there, right at that
Yes.
hog line?
Nice. And this just looks maybe a little.
And because of that, the finish was just a little later. So just a tad heavy. I mean, not terrible. He's in the rings, but certainly not where Dupuy had asked. So now McLeod's strategy, they got to minimize things. I mean, he at this point, taking out is really not an option. He's got to get a couple of rocks in there so that they can score a few points.
This is Steve Robertson's second stone for the end.
They're rushing it right along, Ed. The big thing here is really make the play that try to get behind those opposing guards. The boys are really brushing it. They've done a nice job.
That looks really good, doesn't it?
Nice job. Super weight.
Wow, wow.
Look at that.
Beauty.
Very nice. Time you get a piece of the forefoot behind.
So with that nice shot, Steve, Steve wanted to give a shout out to his niece and nephew, Hannah and Jacob, and says they're in Little Rocks and they're aspiring to go to the Briar and Scotties. So shout out to your niece and nephew there, Steve.
Or maybe the Travelers.
Or the Travelers. They're a little young yet. I don't know if they're eligible.
No, exactly. So looks like Dupuy will.
Is that run back?
You turned the page on me. Yeah, Dupuy. I think that run back is pretty simple there.
Yeah.
And he needs to hit it on the broom side, and he'll make some action.
And that was the thing with Steve's shot. It was too good.
Yep. It really was.
If it was only half exposed, they may not have had that opportunity on the run back.
I believe
he still shot rock, though, is he not?
I was just looking for the overhead, but I believe he is. Yep.
He's going to come with the other turn, Arnold.
Well, and again, try to come behind Ontario's garbage, right?
Yep.
Those two guards that are up there.
Yeah, I like the call. I don't know if they know the ice on this side.
You're right, Ed, but again, this is where the practice comes in. They should have...
You hope that someone said, okay, we threw one out here when
yes,
when they do their practices. We know from players in the prior competitions and the Scotties, they already have designated who's going to throw what in their practice to make sure they get all lines and curls in
Yeah.
from the outside and outside in.
It's not really about exercising. It's actually about trying to get a feel for the ice.
Yeah.
He's just about the edge of the 12-foot, so we'll see. This is the first of Skip McLeod's rocks here in the fourth end. And, you know, that seemed to start early.
Yes, I don't know if he got right out to the broom. And just the ice condition there just might have been a little heavier there, we would say.
Well, and yes, I mean, not even, it just fooled him a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So Opportunity Ontario, they'll make an attempt to take that rock, the shot rock out, and potentially lie 3. Now, the house is such that you know, Northwest Territory could certainly draw in for their 1, but and that's ultimately what you want to do, is take multiple points and only give the opposing team 1 at the most.
That looks a little tight too, Arnold.
That's moving pretty good.
I don't know if he's able to save it. He was.
Got the rock, but didn't stick around. So
I think Shad will come with the turn that they know that what's been throwing. So
yeah.
He's taking plenty of ice.
Certainly is. The thing is here, and I don't think he wants to make any contact with that top guard. So
Yes.
it's not about being cute and trying to get close. All he needs is the full 8-foot, really. So
Yes.
Yeah. Give it to his sweepers. And we're seeing the clock running down. Team Northwest Territory is running at 15 minutes and 36 seconds. Team Ontario at 19 minutes and 18 seconds. So.
Yeah, and this is our last rock of the fourth end. So they started with 30 minutes each, Arnold.
Yep. Is it 30 or 38? Is it 30?
I think it was 30.
Okay. And that's thinking time, so.
Because eight end games, I think.
Yeah. Here we go. The boys are just keeping it clean. I think he's got a nice rock here.
Yeah, looks really good.
Yep. Full 8-foot.
Very nice.
Actually, he's going to bite the 4-foot. So, a score of 1 for Northwest Territories, which makes the 3-2 for Ontario for the Northwest Territories here in the fourth end. So they'll take a short break, and the ice will be chamoised. And as Chris was saying, he'll pebble just at the hacks.
A philosophy, a movement, a belief in self, in kindness, in good health, and in good fun. Supported by a passionate community steeped in tradition and united in pride. In a game of inches, every move counts. Are you ready to make yours? The support of the curling community makes it possible for thousands of kids across Canada to follow their dreams, on and off the ice. Thank you for giving generously. Curling teaches as much about life as it does about sport. Club, team, house, lead, rock. These are the words of our sport, words we embody, powerful words, words that speak to everything we represent: respect, togetherness, strength. Our games begin with a handshake and a kind word. We congratulate our opponents when they make a good shot. We remain silent when they falter. We even call our own fouls. When we win, we celebrate with modesty, with humility. We own our mistakes. When defeated, we concede without shame. Win or lose, we hug with abandon, because we genuinely care about our fellow athletes. Curling doesn't discriminate. The ice doesn't judge. It adapts. It accepts. Curling isn't a book to be judged by its cover. On these sheets, everyone is on the same page. It's what's on the inside that counts. The path to victory isn't always smooth. We use friction as an advantage and adversity as an opportunity. The battle is within ourselves, to improve, to advance. We dream big. We play with heart. We focus on these circles and imagine podiums in far-off places. Curling is what the world needs right now. Connection to one another, one team, one community. Curling is more than a sport. It's a lifestyle, a philosophy, a movement, a belief in self, in kindness, in good health, and in good fun. Supported by a passionate community steeped in tradition and united in pride. In a game of inches, every move counts. Are you ready to make yours? The support of the curling community makes it possible for thousands of kids across Canada to follow their dreams, on and off the ice. Thank you for giving generously. Curling teaches as much about life as it does about sport. Club, team, house, lead, rock. These are the words of our sport, words we embody, powerful words, words that speak to everything we represent: respect, togetherness, strength. Our games begin with a handshake and a kind word. We congratulate our opponents when they make a good shot. We remain silent when they falter. We even call our own fouls. When we win, we celebrate with modesty, with humility. We own our mistakes. When defeated, we concede without shame. Win or lose, we hug with abandon, because we genuinely care about our fellow athletes. Curling doesn't discriminate. The ice doesn't judge. It adapts. It accepts. Curling isn't a book to be judged by its cover. On these sheets, everyone is on the same page. It's what's on the inside that counts. The path to victory isn't always smooth. We use friction as an advantage and adversity as an opportunity. The battle is within ourselves, to improve, to advance. We dream big. We play with heart. We focus on these circles and imagine podiums in far-off places. Curling is what the world needs right now. Connection to one another, one team, one community. Curling is more than a sport. It's a lifestyle, a philosophy, a movement, a belief in self, in kindness, in good health, and in good fun. Supported by a passionate community steeped in tradition and united in pride. In a game of inches, every move counts. Are you ready to make yours? The support of the curling community makes it possible for thousands of kids across Canada to follow their dreams, on and off the ice. Thank you for giving generously. Curling teaches as much about life as it does about sport. Club, team, house, lead, rock. These are the words of our sport, words we embody, powerful words, words that speak to everything we
All right, welcome back to the 2018 Travelers Curling Club Championships, Miramichi, New Brunswick at the Miramichi Curling Club. Ed Pinter with Arnold Mallet here for the broadcast of the Northwest Territory and Ontario game. And we're starting the fifth end, Ed, and Ontario 3-2 over Northwest Territories.
It's on their lead stones, and Ontario has the hammer.
And we are, as we mentioned at the outset, we are into a 4-rock rule. Most of the championships, effective 2018-19 season, have gone to 5-rock rule, but I believe the reason that this event is 4-rock rule is the championships that were held last year for them to come to play this year was done in the 4-rock rule.
Right.
So going across the board, we have in the men's BC over Northern Ontario 4-0 after 4 ends. New Brunswick and Ontario. Ontario has a commanding lead there, 7-2 after 4 ends. And that was the ladies. In the men's, Newfoundland and New Brunswick, tight game there. 4-3 after 4 ends.
And we're just getting an update there, Arnold, I think.
Yeah, so
New Brunswick scored 1 in
so
the.
it's all tied up after 4. And the next sheet, they're in their 4th end. PI Newfoundland, and that's the girls. 3-2 for PI. And then the last of the 12:30 draw, Yukon over Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia has a 5-1 lead after 4 ends. So our featured game, we're in the 5th end, and Ontario setting it up with, they've got one just about on the button, shot rock, and it looks like McLeod is asking Bouillon to just tap it back, Ed, I believe.
Yes.
That seemed to move fairly quickly, Ed. The boys held it pretty well. He's got nice weight, though. They're leaving it go. Here we go. Very nicely done.
Very nicely executed by the team. A good,
Yep. They
takes all 4 players to make the shot.
Right. The indication from the sweepers was that the weight was adequate, and that helps the skip make the sweeping call. And as we were saying earlier, Ed, the province of New Brunswick, Curling NB, of course, very much supporters of this event. Locally, Pizza Delight here in Miramichi, and Subway, the Town Auto Group, Town Ford, Town Chrysler, and Town Mazda, City of Miramichi, all viable sponsors for curling events, and I see Jet Ice and Tim Hortons, and of course our feature sponsor, Travelers. Kudos to all those who help make these events happen.
Yes, we're very appreciative, and without those sponsors, we wouldn't have such a successful event.
Ed, did you hear the number of how many not sponsors, but volunteers are involved here this week? I must ask Dodie or Sean if, I bet you it's in the, certainly the multiples.
It's in the hundreds for sure.
Yeah. These things just don't happen. You got your staff in the kitchen, and we've got Bell TV, a shout out to them too for live streaming. We've got 2 featured games every draw throughout the week. And as we said, the Miramichi Curling Club, located here at French Cove, just outside Douglastown, or between Douglastown and Newcastle. Nothing like seeing live action.
No, and you mentioned with Bell being able to be on hand, I know that you and I, watching our sons and daughters play, when they're away from New Brunswick, and even in other communities in New Brunswick, we're able to watch live stream. It's really a nice touch.
Yeah, it's the only thing that beats being here. Yep.
So we hope people out in TV land or on your laptops or mobile device are enjoying the coverage.
So Bouillon's being asked to take out that shot rock, and he does. However, he rolls out. The staying around is such an important part of the game, and like we said, things are lively. It allows the opponent to strategize a little more. So Lich T, they're debating, Ed, whether to take that out. Initially, Dupuy had just asked for him to come behind that guard and leave that one alone, but I think the team kind of had a consensus to maybe remove this rock.
Right.
The objective for Ontario now is to try to score their 2. And
there's that directional sweeping, Arnold.
Sweeping it away from the curl and with hopes of keeping it. However, there's what we're talking about. That
may have
the lively heads or rocks, I should say. Yep.
That was one of those ones where it looks like the rock is going to start curling hard, taking off, and when the directional sweeping goes against that curl, it just shows you how much you can negate the curl, and in that case, it was too much.
So Robertson's being asked to place one behind their guard in hopes of a steal, or at the very least forcing Ontario to take one. And that's
this one's really starting to move, Arnold.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah, they had to sweep it together and they knew the weight was a little more than T-line weight.
And then, of course, it ends up at the back of the house, so it's, So the last of Leach T's rocks here in the 5th end. Just being asked for hack weight, I believe. And again, if he could stick around, this would be great. The objective, of course, is to get that stone out.
Is he able to hold it?
Yep, I think so.
Very nice.
And he gets a little bit of a flop. And that's the other thing, Ed. Whether it's right behind that guard or not, it changes the shot. We're at the back of the house now, and rolling out becomes an easier option.
I think he didn't want to roll directly behind because give the opportunity to freeze.
Change that. No, you're absolutely right. That would change the strategy. Now they seem to be ignoring that last rock, the shot rock.
So Shad and Stephen were talking about coming in and drawing behind the center guard that they have.
They've been playing this shot all in, so they should have a good handle on what it's doing there.
And Shad wanted to give out shout-outs to his mom and dad. That's Joni and Leo, and his brother Zeke, and his sisters Silky and Darlin. And his girlfriend, Megan.
There you go.
So maybe they hope this is good karma for Shad here on this shot.
So the first of the McLeod's rocks here in the fifth end. They haven't laid a brush to it, Ed.
It should start to work.
Here it comes now. You know, I think he gave himself a little more ice there too.
I was wondering because Steve certainly
came very close to that stone.
Yeah.
Good shot though. Top of the 4 foot, full 8. Ontario pretty well has to deal with it. The hope here would be that there's not a jam, and I don't think there would be because he'd. So the first of Dupuy's skips rocks here in the 5th end. Ontario has hammer. And all games have restarted after the 4th end break, so well, all except for they're all getting underway. Yep.
Yeah. So that update on the women's sheet D, PEI and Newfoundland is all tied up at 3
after 4, so they're starting the 5th end. Yep. He's off and on. That's always a good indication, Ed. That,
It is good. When you're watching your team online or on TV, you like when you see them on and off.
Yeah.
As you said, it's a good indication that the shot's pretty much what they had called. And
This end is setting up pretty much like what Ontario was hoping for. They're lying 2 right now. I believe McLeod is going to try to take that out and roll.
I thought he might draw again, but it's only the 5th end, and
Well, I suppose if he could freeze on that back one, perhaps, but it's a little risky. He doesn't make it quite right, and gives Ontario an opportunity for 3, which is not what you'd like to do at this point of the game.
no.
So eliminate this rock, get yourself a roll to make Ontario have to make a shot, and who knows?
Yeah, we've seen it at all levels. That the having to play that shot for a takeout on the final stone, anything could happen. Could jam.
Yep.
Could miss altogether.
Even in the big leagues.
Yep.
However, they're not going for that. They are going for that.
Oh, they are
back
going
rock.
to the back one.
Yep. The boys are holding off. They want to get this edge just as firm as they can in that back rock. One sweeper after the...
Oh, my goodness, what? That's a
nice.
beautiful shot.
Very nice. Exactly what they were looking for. And that's the... Ed, when you look at the overhead, that is pretty well frozen.
Yeah, and not corner frozen. It's frozen right on the nose. And so it would be hard to remove that.
Forcing Ontario to draw for his 1. That was a great shot.
Great shot
Yep.
by Skip Shad McLeod. So Matthew Dupuy throwing his final rock. Has to draw to almost bite the 4-foot.
Yeah. Well, he has backing too with those 2 stones back there, but he should give this to his sweepers and let them bring it along. Again, they're just keeping it clean.
Keeping it clean.
Once it starts to move, seem to be.
Yeah, I don't know if they left it too long or not.
Yeah, it seemed to grab. So mission accomplished for Team Northwest Territories. Put the pressure on, and as you said, anyone can miss a shot. The big leagues, it happens all the time.
Just a slight sweeping error.
Yeah. Well, I you know what, Ed, I don't know if like that was short by. It didn't make the 8-foot, so yeah. You're saying that maybe if they had grabbed it sooner, it might have helped. Yeah. However, steal of 1 for Northwest Territories, and we're all tied up here in the 5th end. 3-3.
And that's one of those shots as sweepers that you'd like for the person in the house, in this case, I think it was, I'm not sure who was in the house for that, but if they say that you can't hurt it, meaning that you can sweep it as much as you want and it's not going to go out of the rings. I think that's what they would have liked to have heard.
I think it's Charles Worth that's in the house.
Yeah, Charles, yes.
Yeah.
The boys had told me earlier that Charles holds the broom in the house.
Right, yep.
Yeah, I thought, because as we mentioned, all the way down, they were just kind of keeping it clean.
Yes, and maybe, as you say, starting that earlier in the path, because this is now the 6th end, so the ice is becoming very, very familiar. Should be anyway.
Should be.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed that they.
So McLeod is just asking for center line guard, which he got. Very
nice.
nicely done. That was thrown by
Rob Kohler.
Yeah.
And Rob's being coached by his mother-in-law, Sharon. So Sharon wanted to send a shout out to her team, and she said Wendy will be watching for sure. And she said, as for the others, you know who you are. So that's what Sharon asked me to send out.
So they were actually asking for this one in the house, okay. He wants it on the 12-foot tee line. Very nicely done.
Yeah, nicely executed.
Now, McLeod has a choice to make. To go after it. So he's indicating the option to his teammates. He says we can take that out and sit there, or we could come behind our guard. But I think the team agreed that this was the shot to do. I tend to agree as well. This is coming down. It's really moving. They're getting caught with a little surprise there. He made the shot, but it's moving on them quite fast.
And that was a decent weight too, Arnold.
Yeah, but he made. Ed, I'm almost thinking maybe he didn't get to the broom because the way that just nicked it. Yep. So Dupree is asking for a repeat.
And that's not really a routine shot, a takeout on the wide part on the outside rings, especially after Rob had indicated, he's been curling for only 3 years. So, a 3-year curler and a 2-year curler experience.
Now that's a better shot, and I think that might have been what he wanted with the first shot, just a corner guard. Yep.
Okay.
And it still can't be taken because we are playing the 4-rock rule, so.
No, actually, it can be taken.
You're right. There are 4 rocks in play. Yep.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they're not removing this.
Well, of course, Ontario has last rock, right? So they're looking to try to create another opportunity for a steal. They haven't laid a brush to it, Ed, and kind of got the idea that it's starting to come now. Just a little hot out of his hand and didn't get quite the finish that they were hoping for. Yep. Not a bad shot.
No. That was from her second Devin Bouillon, and Devin's been curling 2 years.
There you go.
What a chance being here at the Travelers Championship.
The National, yeah.
The National, just really, it's the Briar or the Scotties for club curlers.
Absolutely. So the guard is being asked to be removed.
I thought they might ignore that, Arnold, and go around their corner guard.
Well, again, Ontario's got last rock, so I think they want to try to keep this as open as they can. Cloud's kind of indicating get a second stone, another second rock in there. If you're just joining us, we're here at the 2018 Travelers Curling Club Championship, Miramichi, New Brunswick, at the Miramichi Curling Club, being held this week from November 19th to the 24th. Teams from every province in Canada, men's and women's. There's lots of seating area here, great viewing at the club itself, and they have a great kitchen here as well.
Yeah, so we have, in this draw, we have teams in Pool B, men's and women's. And just for our viewers, if you haven't had a chance to look at the schedule and the standings, each section, men's have 14 teams, women's 14 teams, and they're in 2 pools of 7. Within their pool, they play round robin in the preliminary play, Arnold. And the round robin wraps up on Thursday evening. Last draw is at 7:30. That's draw 14. Then Friday morning, there are tiebreakers if necessary. Quarterfinals at 1:30 and semis at 6:30, with the finals being held on Saturday.
For both divisions.
Both divisions, yes.
So Ontario took the second rock off of Northwest Territory, but they're still lying shot rock in the house. And McLeod is asking
Steve Robertson,
to bring that back in. Might be a little lighter this time. I think they got it lighter or not. Not quite. But it's still in the way. Put it that way. So just discussing debating whether to draw around or to come and take that out.
Yeah, I think initially Matthew was tapped the rock. Looks like he wanted to hit and roll to the outside. And
this is Lichty's first mates rocks here in the sixth end, so I think they've decided on the draw.
Yes, yeah.
This is an aggressive call. If trying to score his 2 here. Seems to be some debate. Yep.
Not quite as far out as we saw. Remember, Shad threw down this line, and it was a little heavier.
Yep.
We'll see if this is the case. Because you haven't had many rocks from the outside in on that side.
Starting to move now.
Starting to move now, and
the boys knew it.
Yeah.
Get a wick. Oh, that's unfortunate to move the guard in. That's the last thing you would want.
I think the weight was okay, Arnold.
I do too. I think a little more ice. Yep. Yep. And again, we hadn't played that much on that side, so.
They were asking for a tight guard or for it to come into the 12-foot.
I think at this point, if he's 12-foot, he'd be okay. And he's blocking the access to the button. That's the key when you haven't got last rock. So
very nice. I think that's exactly what they called.
Dupuis going to be looking to clean the house here. He's looking for board weight, I'm sure.
This is one of these ones, if you throw a lot of weight, you've seen them hit in both rocks and that kind of squeaks through. I don't know what
keeps on coming through.
Yes. I don't know the physics of it, but it is interesting when you see it.
They're off that one. Oh, nice shot.
Nice shot.
However, McLeod looks like he's going to ask for that to be taken out. The option, of course, would be just to draw and plug. You've got one sitting in the back four.
I think they're looking at it right now, Arnold.
Yeah. You were right. I was just asking, and it looks like you've got about 120 to 150 volunteers. So isn't that great? And that's not counting, I'm sure, the kitchen staff. Or,
the chickens, yes.
Or the...
I didn't know we were having hot chicken this evening.
Or the officials as well. So that's a great community event. All right, so this is the first of Skip McLeod's rocks here in the sixth end. He's lying one without hammer. We're all tied up, three each. The boys haven't laid a brush to this yet. They know this path fairly well. It's starting to move now, Ed. Getting some finish. That was the option shot that he had, of course. It was just to line one right there. Dupley, you'll have to make a play on something to shot rock is buried.
Yeah, even though that didn't get to the position where they wanted, it's still not a bad position.
No.
It's going to be hard for Matthew to play it in one area without giving Team Northwest Territories a chance to at least hit an open rock.
Yeah, the idea here would be if he could raise his and get a bit of a roll under that guard, under those guards. That would be the risk reward. If he hits it and they both spill out, it'll force McLeod to make a play on that yellow. At
Top yellow, yes.
Yeah, the 10 o'clock.
He's not playing just a tap back, is he, Arnold?
I don't think.
No,
I
it's
think
like more of a run back, is it?
He's playing a run back, yeah. They haven't laid a brush to it. It's going to start moving, though. Very nicely done.
Yeah. Nice shot. Oh, and they're calling timeout.
Timeout.
Northwest Territories. Just heard the official saying timeout on Echo.
Yep.
Meaning sheet E, our sheet.
Right. Yeah, Northwest Territories has 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Team Northwest Territories Ontario 12:45. So plenty of time.
Maybe during this timeout, Arnold, we can update the scores on sheet A.
There you go.
Men's, Northern Ontario and British Columbia. British Columbia leads 6-1 after 6 ends.
And on sheet B, ladies, New Brunswick and Ontario. Ontario has a 8-2 lead over New Brunswick on the ladies' side.
Sheet C, Newfoundland and New Brunswick. This is the men's, all tied up at 4.
And on sheet D, ladies, we have PEI and Newfoundland, and PEI is ahead 4-3, and they are playing the 6th end.
And on sheet F, we have Nova Scotia and the Yukon. Nova Scotia leading 7-1 over the Yukon Territory.
And that is in the 6th end. All right, so we're resuming play here after the timeout. I believe you're allowed 2 timeouts.
And this is Northwest Territory, last stone. So they decided to play the takeout, Arnold. And so a hit and roll out, and I think Ontario looking now to blank the end, carry the hammer through to the 7th end.
So that was the first of 2 timeouts that's afforded to each teams in the 8-end game, and should it go into extras, there's another timeout that's we're talking 90-second timeouts in. So they're throwing it through.
I was surprised that they took the timeout for that end. It seemed like they had plenty of time, but they were quick to call it for sure.
And they're just want to make sure that the rings are perfect. I think they're debating whether or not it's on or not. I think they're going to ask for the official to come and check. No, they decided against it. So a blank end here in the 6th end. Team Ontario will have their the hammer. And we have our first final, Team New Brunswick and Team Ontario. Ontario beating Team New Brunswick, the score of 8-2. So we have 50-50 draws, do we yet? Excuse me.
I'm not sure. Our feature game, Arnold just gave the score. That was a feature game, the women's game on sheet B. Now this morning in the first draw, the feature game finished early, and they did end up showing sheet A. So I'm not sure. They may switch and show Newfoundland and New Brunswick women's tied at 4-4. They might show those last two ends for.
With the camera position upstairs, Ed, that's very possible. So, yep. That's, and the commentating, I mean, we can see, we can see all the ice surfaces. So, yep. So Skip McLeod has asked for Rob to Kohler just to put a long guard, which he did.
Yeah.
And Ontario is looks like they're taking the approach to go in. Make use of that guard. You want to be above the tee line. That's the key here. We're getting some late movement now.
Nicely thrown. Good judge by the front end.
Good finish on that.
Yes.
Got to the forefoot. So as we said, these are 8-end games. We're playing with the 4-rock rule, and although most of the curling world today is on a 5-rock rule, this event, to play your playoffs to get here, it was a 4-rock rule, so they maintained that for this championship. That's holding out, Ed.
Yes,
I think that's the weight now. It's all about the weight. He actually threw it right through the curl. And out we go.
Yeah, and that's just how sensitive the ice is. Rewards you if you have the correct weight.
Yep. And I think we have another finish on ice F. Or no, sorry, I thought they were putting their. Nova Scotia stole another 2, so they're now ahead 7-1 over the Yukon in the. Actually, we'll wait for an update because they started.
I think Yukon ended up getting 1, or thought they were throwing against 2 stones, and I see they're throwing first rock.
They're throwing first, so yep.
We'll get that update to you shortly. Meanwhile, on our sheet,
second Ontario stone has been placed in the rings. Bouillon's being asked to go around the guards. Ontario remains with the hammer.
Nice looking shot from my view, from my vantage.
Yep, it's going to finish. He's fine. He's anything above the tee line. That's good. He can use that later.
Yeah, so I see where Ontario changed their strategy this time. Instead of the corner guard or throwing one out to the wings, they decided to come in first behind that center guard.
Yep. They certainly want to try to score their deuce in this end. We're getting into the later ends, so, and that seems to be moving on them quite quickly. Again, I think it's one of those things. Ed, not sure that he got out quite to the broom. His weight was fine.
Yeah, weight was perfect, and
yep. So now McLeod is debating making a call on his rock to remove the shot rock behind garbage, and it's probably a good time to do that because things are starting to pile up out there.
Now in this, Arnold, would he like his shooter to stick around?
I would say he would, but you know what? If the shooter could actually stay on that center line, that'd be ideal. You're covering the 4-foot. See what kind of weight he throws here. And
That's a little tight.
Yeah. And you know what? They just don't seem to be getting out to the broom, Ed. I think, and that's going to penalize you. Yep. It's early in the week, but.
Yeah, and again, it could have been a combination of not getting to the broom, and as we like to say with our interns are in, might have got the
got it
the rock started.
Got it started, yeah. So Dupuy is he's looking at. Wow. I mean, he does want to clear. There's too many rocks in play for him with hammers, so he can afford to move these things around.
Yes.
And you're right, Ed. I see the update on Yukon, Northwest Territories, and or the Yukon and Nova Scotia. They did score one, so it's 7-2 after 6 for Nova Scotia. All right, in our game, looks like he wants to move some of his around and potentially take the Northwest Territory rock out at the same time. So King is releasing here. They haven't laid a brush to it. Got nice weight though.
Yes, it looks nice.
Yep. Lichty is nicely done.
Beautiful shot.
Yep. Starting to get a conglomeration of Ontario stones there that McLeod is going to have to deal with.
So Steve Robertson now to deliver for Team Northwest Territories.
The double is certainly possible here, and he could stick around. You'd have to throw a pretty hard one to get all three of them out, but I don't know that it's there.
Oh, man.
There's where Head again, the thinking that you really got to throw the hard one.
Well, I've noticed in this game, Arnold, Steve's takeout weight is different than Devin's takeout weight, and I think giving the same ice.
Yes.
I don't know.
You have to adjust.
It's
not that the weight is bad, but if you haven't adjusted the broom, and if he's on the broom, then yep. So Lichty is being asked to return. I think they want to come around that, Ed. There's no sense guarding. You've got last rock. You might as well be aggressive here and go in, and a wick off won't hurt him here either. No, that's okay. This is
starting to get scary.
This is where the temptation is, eh? You really want to make things move, so you throw it, you overthrow it, and consequently it doesn't do what you think it was going to do. So Robertson is being tasked with trying to remove two if he can. And he does. Nicely done.
Nicely done, yeah.
Yeah. He actually moved 3 rocks, but 2 of them went out. So, and their second rock, with Ontario being first and third. So Ontario still looking to try to score more than one here. Lichty will be asked to remove the lone Northwest Territory stone. He's got a nice shot, and we'll just see how he gets the roll. Yeah.
Oh, it was just about what they wanted.
Lying 3 with last rocks.
Nice throw.
Yep. Now McLeod's got some eliminating to do here.
He has a dilemma. If he plays the double on the center line, he probably won't stick around. And if he plays the double on the high Yellowstone, he could jam, and it will still leave Ontario as shot stone. So.
Second timeout. Yeah. So Northwest Territories is using the second of their timeouts. 90-second timeout. And I think Newfoundland just scored a bundle here on.
Oh, did they?
On sheet D. We'll wait for the score to go up, but
we're told by our unofficial scorer that it was a tally of 6.
That opens that up a little bit. So Coach Cormier is out there as well. And it's all about minimizing how many you're going to give up. You definitely, it would appear as though you're going to give up some in this end without hammer. They're lying 3.
I think they even considering throwing the out-turn draw and freezing to the.
I don't know if they can get there, Ed.
No, I don't think it's probably not.
Because that rock is full 12, there's not much gap, and if you don't make it, the last thing you want to do is give 4. I still think the shot here is to at least eliminate 2. I mean, it's a tie game. Eliminate 2. If they get their deuce, then you play for your deuce in the next end.
Yeah. This is one of those ones as club curlers. Sometimes you end up saying, well, we'll play this, and if that doesn't work, we'll play this. But you have to commit to one shot.
Yes.
If you're playing that top double, the 2 on the top, then.
Yeah. No, you're right. And everyone's got to know it so that they're sweeping and coordinating their efforts. Yep. All right, the first of Skip McLeod's here in the 7th end. That's moving pretty good on him. He only removes the single rock and becomes 3rd rock. So now Ontario's still lying 2.
I think they'll put that in the same spot.
I think they've got one in the center guard, on the center line, I mean. So, and Newfoundland did score 6 in that 6th end. So, score of 9-4 over PI in the 7th end for the ladies. New Brunswick men over Newfoundland, 5-4 for New Brunswick, and they're in the 7th end.
Newfoundland has just their last skip stone to throw.
Okay.
Appears that New Brunswick's sitting 1.
I didn't see the indication here. Ed, is he playing for the takeout or is he going to try behind?
I thought he was playing for the takeout.
Okay. Not sure.
I'm a little surprised by that.
We'll see with the push whether he doesn't want to be deep. No, you're right. He's playing the takeout.
Yeah,
Now they likely want to get a roll out of this.
I think he's looking to hit and roll out to or into the center.
Because the only fearful thing, had he drawn and gone too deep, then it gives Northwest Territories an out. But unfortunately, they still have the out. They're debating whether they take it out.
Or attempt the double. If they attempt the double, then I think Ontario would blink and carry the hammer into the final end,
And
Arnold.
with this ice, Ed, looks like he's going to ask for the freeze. They've done it once before.
They've done it once.
And forced them to the... I'm not sure.
I'm surprised by this call as well.
Well, it worked for him before. It worked for him before, so you put the pressure on for Ontario to only take the one.
The only thing about this one compared to the last time, Arnold, is that like if they play the freeze, they will not be shot. They probably will not be shot rock.
No, you're right. They probably need a little bit of a
Unless they're playing just
tap. Yeah.
cold draw, or it could be a tap. You're right.
The tap is risky too, though, because then you're
looking at
potentially 3.
Well, Shad seemed like he was confident in the call.
No, and the teammates, didn't seem to be a lot of discussion, so this seems to be the shot. As you said earlier, commit to it.
There's no wrong shot as long as you execute.
Again, that release.
That seemed to move early, didn't it?
Yeah, you're not getting out to the broom. Just not. And you know what? And of course, it's easy up here, right? It's all about the push. Just not getting out there. And God knows I do it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's not about, they're looking as if it picks something, but
I didn't think it.
I don't think that's the issue. But anyway, so a draw for 3 here in the 7th end. Boy, that's tough because this game has been hard fought right throughout.
Yes, the Northwest Territories' misfortune is Ontario's fortune.
Yep.
Potential 3 spot.
Now they're getting out to some fresh ice, so the guys want to be on this. You know, they were out there quite a ways. Well, it sounds like it's good. Yep. Very good. So Dupuy and his Ontario squad score 3 in the 7th end to create a 6-3 game with 1 end to play over Northwest Territories. Once again, we're broadcasting with the Bell Alliance, which is our hats off to them. We're live streaming 2 games for every draw. There's 4 draws a day here at the 2018 Travelers Curling Club Championship in Miramichi, New Brunswick, at the Miramichi Curling Club, being held all this week from the 19th to the 24th of November. And we have another final, Ed, on sheet A, shaking hands between BC and Northern Ontario. We'll wait for the final score, but it looks like BC prevailed.
Yeah, 'cause they didn't throw the last 2 stones, so it must have run Northern Ontario out of rocks.
So when that happens, you go with the score that's there. So 6-4, BC over Northern Ontario.
And on sheet C, we had indicated there on Newfoundland was throwing their last stone, and we didn't see the result, but the New Brunswick ended up stealing, and they're up 6-4. So with a 3-point lead, Ontario looking to throw their first stone through the rings, not have any rocks in play, anything to hide behind or to freeze against.
Quite a spread in the time. We got 3:50 for Northwest Territories to the 8 minutes and 28 seconds for Ontario. As we said, it's obviously not going to be a factor, but on sheet F, they're in the 7th end, and Team Yukon has only a minute and 29 seconds left, so we'll see how that rolls out. So they're looking for the tick shot here, I believe, Ed.
Yes.
And what that is, folks, is just you're not allowed to remove that red stone, but you are allowed to move it over to another spot. And in this case, I think they're moving it into the rings. And Team McLeod he's sweeping that out, so that gets replaced. And the yellow stone comes off.
Certainly makes it a much more exciting game with the 4-rock rule and now the new 5-rock rule.
Yeah.
More rocks in play, more opportunities for teams to come back when they're down.
Yep.
We actually, the game I did last night with Keith Rains, Saskatchewan playing Northern Ontario, were down 3 and ended up scoring 4 in that final end.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we have another final. Team Nova Scotia over Team Yukon. And Nova Scotia, the victors there at, I think they scored multiple points. So, yep, that game's over. Northwest Territories is trying to get that behind the guard, which they did. However, I think they would have liked that in the rings because the 4th rock has now been thrown, so Ontario will certainly want to remove any guards to eliminate the chance of Northwest Territories scoring multiple points. And he removes one. Northwest Territory will probably come into the rings. They need to score 3 here just to tie, so. We're in the final end, the 8th end of the 2018 Travelers Curling Club Championship game, Northwest Territories versus Team Ontario.
Boys are working hard to get it over the hog line. I'm not sure.
It's a little lapse of concentration there, I think.
Yeah, and Devin will be disappointed with that.
Yeah. So opportunity, Team Ontario, to remove the remaining guard. With every shot eliminated, so goes the chance to try to score your 3. Once again, the 2018 Travelers Curling Club Championship being held at the Miramichi Curling Club has 4 draws every day. We're into at 9 o'clock, 12:30, 4 o'clock, and 7:30. And that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is the tiebreakers if required. Quarterfinals and semifinals, with the finals happening on Saturday, November 24th.
What are the feature games in the next draw, Arnold, in case the viewers are going to keep their live stream opened?
So at 4 o'clock, we've got Alberta versus Nunavut and BC versus Saskatchewan.
And so the
Oh, sorry, and I guess I'm not sure. If
blue is the men's.
Okay.
So Alberta and Nunavut, that's on sheet 2, and that's men's. And on sheet E,
That's
BC and Saskatchewan, the women's.
Right. So Team Ontario eliminating any chance of Northwest Territories, and they, of course, don't mind rolling out at this point.
No, we've seen teams use rocks that are in rings as guards and drawing around them. So, and anything behind the tee line would be something that they could freeze to. And
Yep. So at this point, there's no guards outside, so you've got to start accumulating your points. Try to get to a point on the ice that is more difficult to take out.
yeah, and that's what Steve's looking to do, is to get out wide in the wings.
Very well. Nice shot.
Nice shot.
Yep. And then hope for a miss. So Lichty is being asked to remove the counter. He's just recently put in by Northwest Territories, and he has got his takeout to sit and lie shot rock.
Very nice by Mr. Lichty. Now, Team Northwest Territories, 3 rocks remaining and need 3 points to stay in the game.
And they're choosing to go around that shot rock, take what little protection there might be there. This is moving pretty good on them, though,
Yes.
and not going to be what they're looking for. It is in the rings, however, so it's still alive. And Ed, we see that the ice technicians, no sooner as the games are finished, that they need to get ready to prepare the ice for the next draw, which is at 4:30. And when you're doing 6 sheets of ice,
It's a tight window to get done, isn't it, Arnold?
every minute counts. And the first of Skip Dupuis rocks. Yep. So that pretty well does it.
That does it for...
Well, at the end of play, becomes 6-3 win for Ontario over Northwest Territories. And once again, our thanks to Bell Line for live streaming the Travelers Tournament this week. Ed, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
and,
thanks again, Arnold.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much, and look forward to the 4:30 draw. Bye for now.
Represent respect, togetherness, strength. Our games begin with a handshake and a kind word. We congratulate our opponents when they make a good shot. We remain silent when they falter. We even call our own fouls. When we win,